Today we're going to discuss, I'm going to discuss your application on VisualArts. Now, question 1.1 says, write a function check number to receive a string and to return true. Now, whenever they ask you to write a method, you need to check whether it's a function or a procedure. Now, it was asked specifically for the function. So it's function name and check number. Now, it's function, check number, there's a function name. You're receiving a number, snum, because it's a string, and you're going to return Boolean. The second question as well says receive a string and return a value true, which is Boolean. So this function valid cell, receiving a string and returning a value Boolean. Now, in question 1.1, it says, you must check if the number is in the range 1 to 25. There's many ways to do this, but firstly, you have to check that it is a number. Then you need to check that it's in the range 1 to 25. Now, I've used one method here. See, check number needs to return true or false. Now, one thing you need to know about writing functions and checking validity of information is best to actually, in most cases, let it be true, that it is valid. So we're going to assume snum is valid. So it's true. At any time during testing, there is something that is not valid, we set it to be false. So we're going to assign to the check number, the function, the value true. If it's not, now this try string to int, what it does is it receives the number and tries to convert it to an integer. If it's not successful, then it's false. It means it's not a number, couldn't convert to integer. But if it could convert to integer, we go on to check that if it's in the range 1 to 25. You can use a greater than, if inum is greater than 1 and less than greater than equal to 1 and less than equal to 25. That will also work. So one is you're checking to see if it's a number. It can be converted to a number, then you check the range. And there's more than one way we can check if it's a number. We could also check to see if it's numbers from, if its digits are from 1 to 25. We'll show you in the next example. Now for valid cell, we have to check if the string is a 10-digit number. So to check if it's a 10-digit number, we can check if it's a string. But we also need to know that there are 10 digits, the length. So in this example, you could have let valid cell to be true, but you could also declare Boolean. So my answer is slightly different here. The choice will be yours. You can assign valid cell to be true. And if something is incorrect, then valid cell becomes false, like we did for check number. The other option is to assign a variable. Like in this case, correct, you don't have Boolean, that's true. We're assuming it is correct. And if it is not true, it becomes false. And result is equal to correct means that your function name, valid cell, will store the value true or false. Here we put in your true or false directly in the function name. And in this case, we store it in a Boolean variable and then put it in the function name. Both methods are acceptable. Now, how do you check length? So we're saying if the length of num, there's a not. If it's not 10, if it's not length of num is 10, then we know that it is false. That means it is not a valid cell number. Next, from 1 to the length of the number, we need to now check. You take each digit. This statement here is not necessary. You need to check if snum-ic, the first digit is in from 0 to 9. If it's not in 0 to 9, then it's false. So if it's not, if any of the digits, remember, snum is a string. So we're checking in each position of that number. If any of it is not in 0 to 9, then it means it's false. That would mean any number or any character in SNUM, the 10 digits are supposed to be cell phone number, 10-digit number. So if any character in SNUM is not, it's not from 0 to 9, then it means it's correct, it's false, it's not a valid cell phone number, and you return your answer, false or true. So if the number was true here, length was 10, it would have never became false. And if they were all numbers, it would have never became false. So your final answer would have been true. Again, you could have used valid cell here, your actual function name, wherever I have correct, you can have valid cell function name like I did here, a check number. Or you can store it in a Boolean and take the Boolean variable answer from there and store it as result. Result means place the value in your function name. Now this code shows you how to call a function. This button here, where we're searching for a learner, we are checking, we're using the function. Now we are searching for the learner based on the cell phone number. So the statement says repeat S number and is asking, the input box is asking for a 10-digit cell phone number. So this statement will be repeated until a valid cell number is returned, because a valid cell is a function being called. The functions are called in an if statement, repeat statement, or an output statement. A function cannot be called on its own because the function name contains a value. So remember, valid cell is going to have a value true or false. So this means that you're going to repeat the entry of cell phone number until valid cell, until it is a valid cell. You can also write there until valid cell is equal to true. That means the value that's returned is true, and true is equal to true. So you can have the equal to true, or you can simply say until valid cell, and you're sending the cell phone number. So here, the cell phone number is sent to the function, and it comes back with an answer true or false. If it's false, it will continue. So it will repeat until the function is valid. Then you go on to your programming. In this example, I didn't use the data module. So yours would have simply had the data module dot and then your table name and dot first. The next section we will teach you is how to work without a data module. We dynamically instantiate on the same form and we work with the tables. So you can do it with or without the data module. That's about using a function.